What happens when a president throws himself a $50 million birthday parade and late-night TV turns it into a national punchline?
And the sick individual who's making this happen is busy planning his big birthday parade, or as I'm calling it, Farty Gras. Trump is having a parade tomorrow. He claims the parade, which will cost American taxpayers somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 million, is meant to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army. And who better to lead that celebration than a felon who dodged the draft by getting a note from his father's podiatrist? And if you go to any of the big No Kings rallies on Saturday, make sure to stop by the Antifa accounting table to pick up your check. You will be paid.
That one live moment set the stage for one of the weirdest weekends of Trump's post-presidency. A $50 million military-style ego show, protests bursting through city streets, and Don Jr. hatching a new scheme that turned more heads than the parade itself. While the cameras rolled and the jokes hit every living room, one question stayed stuck. What was really behind Trump's birthday parade? Every clipping quote you see here, real. No spin, no fairy tales. If you think this is ridiculous already, smash that subscribe. If not, oh, trust me, the show's just warming up.
But nothing was going to ruin Donald's big day. He wrote, rainy day parade, spelled with an E, brings good luck, which is what they tell the bride to get her to stop crying. Turnout was much lower than expected, or as Trump would say, there were record-setting crowds. The bleachers, you could see, were mostly empty. The crowds were sparse. There was not a whole lot of cheering for the tanks and military vehicles. This tank was very squeaky. This one could have used some of Diddy's baby oil to get it going a little bit. And that is it's a shame, you know?
So there he was, the birthday bash meant to scream power, rolling in like a shopping cart with a busted wheel. The tanks squeaked, the seats stayed empty, and the claps? Mostly the echo clapping for itself. Trump asked for a show of force. What he got looked more like a high school play nobody bought tickets for. $50 million for this? America got a sad parade. Jimmy got fresh jokes.
On Saturday, Trump had this, his much-anticipated Stupid Sweet 16, disguised as a tribute to the U.S. Army he bone-spurred his way out of. After all the hype and money, somewhere around $50 million, it was boring. It was basically a $50 million version of when a 5-year-old shows you every car in his Hot Wheels collection.
What was sold as a patriotic salute looked more like a $50 million Sweet 16 with tanks for props. Jimmy nailed it. This wasn't a military salute. It was a toy parade for the world's oldest birthday boy. The real soldiers stood tall, but the crowd stayed home. When the biggest cheers come from late-night TV, maybe that's not the salute he wanted. Sure, people laughed, but behind the punchline sat a bigger question. How does a guy who dodged the draft now demand tanks and troops to clap for him?
We paid for most of it, but he brought in some corporate sponsors, including the UFC, a crypto company, and Scott's Miracle-Gro, which is the product Trump uses on his head. There were flyovers, there were comb-overs, the whole thing. Generalissimo Ballpark Franco had more than 6,000 troops on call to march for him. Like this. They know those things fly, right? I mean, he's holding the pizza like it's a pizza. Who had the pepperoni, huh? We got...
With UFC money, crypto cash, and even a fertilizer company backing the circus, the whole thing felt less like a troop tribute and more like a pilot for a bad reality show. Jimmy didn't even need to dig. The squeaky tanks, empty bleachers, and hairspray did the talking.
You know, after all his talk about how this wasn't a birthday party for him, it kind of seemed like a birthday party for him. They wrapped his new iPad in a flag. It was a lot of fun. What a birthday. There's Sleepy Don taking it all in. And in fairness, that's as close as he gets to being able to sleep with his wife, so he took the opportunity.
There's nothing left to rewrite. Trump's brand of patriotism already looked like a surprise party thrown by him for him. What started as a salute turned into a private party. Gifts, claps, and a rare nap 6 feet from Melania. But one thing Trump couldn't fake. One tiny moment painfully real. Of all the tanks, fireworks, and flags, the thing he'll remember?
This almost makes me feel bad for him, almost. So it's his birthday, and while there's no good reason for us to be paying to celebrate it, you'd think his wife might celebrate it, right? They're married, and well, watch this. Look at his hand. He makes a little move to lock pinkies, and nope. known as the Slovenian snub.
On his own birthday stage, Melania delivered the coldest review. Not today, not now, not even that. Somehow, her silent snub said more than any cannon blast ever could.
It was time for the man who knows more than all of the generals combined to show off his military acumen.
The U.S. Army has driven bayonets into the heart of sinister empires, crushed the ambitions of evil tyrants beneath the threads of American tanks.
That's right. Don't thread on me, tanks. It sounds like someone forgot to apply his flamin' hot fix-it-ent this morning.
Congratulations, congratulations. Welcome to the United States Army and have a great life. Thank you very much. Have a great life. Thank you.
Have a great life. Like he and the Army just broke up. Have a great life.
He came for glory and left like it was a bad breakup. Trump may have wrapped the stage in flags and tanks, but nothing says commander-in-chief like whispering "have a great life" to a room full of new recruits. Jimmy didn't mock the Army, he just let Trump's farewell sound exactly as awkward as it was.
The lackluster crowd size wasn't Trump's fault, and believe it or not, wasn't even Biden's fault. The blame for this one goes squarely on the radical left-wing weather people.
Last night was a tremendous success with a fantastic audience. It was supposed to rain. They gave it a 100% chance of rain, and it didn't rain at all. It was beautiful. And so I asked if they gave it 100% chance, right? 100% it was going to rain like crazy, and it didn't rain at all. How do they predict 100 years out and 50 years out or 200 years out? They didn't do too well, the weather people, last night, but it was beautiful.
No, sounds like he's about to start deporting meteorologists. Weather people bad, village people good. You got it? Poor Al Roker's going to El Salvador.
Tanks squeaked, crowds vanished, Melania stepped back. And now it's all the weather's fault. Like Jimmy joked, Trump can't control the forecast, so guess what? Blame the meteorologists. If the clouds don't show up on time, send the weather guys packing. Every clip here is real, publicly available for news, commentary, and context. While Trump posed before empty chairs, America moved the other way. Fast, loud, unstoppable. Millions hit the streets, not to party, but to say something louder than tanks. What happened next? That was the real story.
The much, much larger crowds were the groups of Americans gathered to protest Trump and his new deport first, ask questions later immigration policy. More than 5 million people showed up all over the country, including in Philadelphia. There were huge crowds in St. Louis. There were 200,000 people in the city of New York. That's San Diego, 60,000 strong. Boise, Idaho had a huge protest. And then in Los Angeles, we had 200,000 people in downtown LA alone. Many more in other spots.
While Trump begged for a salute on the National Mall, the real roar was in the streets, from New York to Boise. Signs up, chants loud, one message. Not just another protest. This was rejection in motion.
All peaceful, friendly, no trouble. There weren't even any police around, but there were a lot of very creative signs. There are so many great signs like this. If Melania doesn't have to live with them, why do we? And you know it's bad when a straight white guy is marching. And you made an Asian stand in the sun, you monster. Nobody's eating the dogs. Trump has a mugshot, my parents don't. I see the way Melania looks at Gavin Newsom. And you sucked in Home Alone, too. A lot of work. You know.
No riots, no chaos, just waves of cardboard so sharp even the Secret Service probably flinched. From presidential mugshots to Home Alone 2, they dragged out every skeleton Trump tried to hide.
It was 10 years ago today that Donald Trump rode down that golden escalator to announce he was running for president. 10 years. That's longer than Seinfeld was on the air, longer than the Beatles were together. And imagine how much grief we could have avoided if they just run that escalator in reverse. They made it go up instead of down. We would have none of this trouble.
10 years down that golden escalator, 5 million people marching the other way. A day meant to crown Trump, answered by cardboard, chants, and a memory that'll never fade. Jimmy didn't bend the timeline. He just reminded us how it all started, and how it could have ended up so different. But of course, it didn't stop there. While protests lit up every block, the Trump clan moved to the next hustle. Leading the charge, Don Jr., selling what he calls their most patriotic business yet.
Today, the prodigal son took to Daddy's famous escalator to announce what could be the Trump family's greatest grift yet.
Jimmy didn't write the story. He just flipped the mirror. Love it or hate it, what you see is what you chose. The choices made in power don't disappear when the music stops. They echo, through headlines, streets, and history. This is commentary using clips from Jimmy Kimmel and real coverage of Trump's birthday parade, Don Jr.'s quotes, all from public sources. No leaks, no rumors, no spin. Fully within YouTube's rules, fully under fair use. News, commentary, analysis. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe, and thanks for sticking around.